All right, good afternoon, you guys. So now I'm going to teach you guys directly what our philosophy is and our opinion on how you can achieve optimal health and wellness no matter who you are, no matter what your financial state, what your physical state, whatever it is, you can change it. And this is the concept of the lifestyle that you need to live, because we've seen that pretty much every disease, every condition, every symptom that someone's suffering from is a result from their lifestyle. So what we decided, my wife and I'm saying we, as you can see, but what we decided was that when you're living in alignment with your true nature of yourself, what happens to you is you recondition your body and your mind to now live in harmony. And this is what you call the alkalign lifestyle. Now it's going to be highlighted by this word, alkalign. So the question for today is, how much is your health worth? Because you have to actually ask yourself in the truest fashion. You hold your hand to your heart and ask yourself, how much is my health worth? Because if your health is not worth that much, if you're struggling in any way, shape, or form in your life, it's because something in your life is not in harmony. Something that you're doing, whether you're working a bad job that you don't like, whether you're with a bad partner that you don't like, whether you're in a bad relationship, whether you're suffering in some way, shape, or form, it's because you're not caring enough about being who you really are. That's essentially what this is all about. So in the alkalign lifestyle, we're going to define it for you today, and I'm going to show you how through lifestyle changes and switches, you can take back control of your mind and of your body. But you have got to know some keys, because you need to take accountability for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. All right. So first off, these are the concepts that we're going to study mainly. The word alkalign, as you can see how it's spelled, Alkalign, is actually the combination of two words. And the first word is alkalign. This is the first word. What this concept is telling you is that, I'm going to draw it. Let's see how my drawing skills are today. I'm going to draw a battery. And this is going to be a salt battery. Essentially, this salt battery that I just drew is supposed to mimic that of a person. So the person is actually a salt battery, meaning the person is you. So you are a salt battery. And a salt battery has a top portion and a bottom portion. Top portion meaning positive charge, bottom portion meaning negative charge. In the case of alkalinity or acidity, so let's say acidity, there is a scale on a pH scale. The pH scale, so I'll label pH right here, stands for potential hydrogen. Potential hydrogen. All right, so what is the concept of potential hydrogen? Where does hydrogen come from? Hydrogen is in the gas form, and it's all around you at every moment in time of a point in space. It's all around you right now. And it's also the first element on the periodic table of elements. But you are actually a combination of these periodic table of elements. It's all within inside your body. So the first one, meaning hydrogen, is the most important one for you to have in your frame, in your vessel, in your physical vessel. And this potential hydrogen has to be at a certain charge. If your potential hydrogen is at a charge of acidity, this means that on a scale of 0 to 14, which is the pH scale, you would be closer, and the median being 7, which is neutral. You would be under, so you would be going this way, you would be going less than 7. If you were alkaline, you'd be going over 7. But the issue is that both of these are not healthy if you go to the extremes. So if you're at the extreme level of acidity, all the way close towards 0, or if you're at the extreme level of alkalinity, all the way close to 14, you'll be suffering from, let's take off of the N words and we're going to put acidosis. So it would be called acidosis, which would, let me take this word off. So right now it's acidity, but if you were to be at the extreme, you would suffer from what's called acidosis. And on this side, you would suffer from what's called alkalosis. Now, what does this essentially mean? This means that you can't be too high and you can't be too low. Because if you're too high or you're too low, you're going to lose energy. This is the concept. So the first part of the alkalign lifestyle is to figure out how to get you in harmony of both of these. Because once you're in harmony with both of these, you're basically running on autopilot, but in a harmonious way. If you're too happy all the time, something's gonna break. You're moving too fast. If you're too sad all the time, all right, something's also gonna break because you're too slow. So you have to figure out how to get this energy wave. This energy wave, and in ancient Egypt, the hieroglyph for energy was a wave, like water, a water wave. So that was the hieroglyph back then for energy. So now you're gonna understand that a person with a salt battery has to maintain a certain level of charge in order to increase the energy inside this battery. But let's keep going. So this was the potential hydrogen. What you do in order to achieve alkalosis or acidosis is you have to be in the extreme. So you don't want to be in the extremes, you just want to be alkaline. And when you go to the grocery store and you buy AA batteries, AAA batteries for your Walkman, a CD player, or whatever you need, like a phone or a toy, you're buying alkaline batteries. Because if you're buying alkaline batteries, they have a good enough charge for you to have energy. So the ideal number for you to be at is 7.35 to 7.55 on the pH scale, on the potential hydrogen scale, which is pretty much right there in the center, just above the center line, because everything around you is pretty much on the acidic side. So you need to maintain a level just above a neutral so that you can maintain a level of optimal health. Anything below this, you're gonna get sick. It's just that simple. Anything below this, your immune system will fail you and you're gonna get sick. So that's why you have to maintain a level of higher energy. So the concept that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about sleep, food, relationships, speech, thoughts, movement, and hydration in conjunction with acidity and alkalinity. And what also we're gonna talk about is the second word in the word alkalign, which is alignment. So the first word is alkalign, the second word is alignment. All right, so you have to have both of these. But alignment of what, you're asking? It's your chakras, it's your energy wheels that come from every wheel of energy all throughout your entire body. And it's spinning. It's like you're like a tornado. So that's why it's basically, when you hear that Abraham talk about the vortex, you are the actual vortex. When you're walking around, you are the tuning fork that's allowing things to come into your existence, or it's allowing things to go away from your existence. So here's the concept that I'm going to put down one more thing, which is thinking and feeling. All right, so now let's talk real quickly about sleeping. What is the importance of sleep and why do you need it? Well, look, if you're like a high performance professional athlete, if you're a celebrity, if you're a singer, a performer, C-level executive, someone who's just working all the time, or just an entrepreneur, someone who owns their own business, someone who's doing their own thing, making their own way, you probably don't get a lot of sleep. You're probably in an airplane, traveling on a train, a plane, or just doing something. You have something inside your head that's keeping you working, it's keeping you moving. But this is why you need to have sleep. As a person in those categories I just described, this is the reason why you need to have sleep, optimal sleep. I'm not talking about 12 hours, 14 hours, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying you need to have adequate enough sleep where your brain waves go into a delta brainwave state, and you understand that now you're in growth and repair, okay? And the reason is because while you're sleeping, this is your connection to the divine. When you need a question answered, something answered in your life, something's happening, some kind of problem, you're looking for a solution, you go into communion with your creator while you go to sleep. So this is why sleep is so important, because at 2 times throughout the entire day, this is when your CNS, spinal fluid, CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, is to flow from the sacral all the way up the base of your spine to the top of your head and light your brain up. It's inside your Bible. I just believe that many people, they misinterpret what the Bible is saying, and it's not looking at it as a book of anatomy. They're looking at it as metaphorical stories and these people, and they're trying to follow the people. But I'm like, no. I think these people are actually portions of your body and organs, and it's telling you how to govern your actual self. You are the God. That's what we believe in the Alkalign Lifestyle. So for you to go into communion with your own creator, go back into the matrix of space, you have to get adequate enough rest and sleep, and then you get back into growth and repair. So meditation is optimal, because whenever you go to sleep, you actually hydrate yourself. But if most people eat late, if you go out to the club at nighttime, if you're not in alignment with what's called the circadian rhythm, so I'll write down this word for you guys, so you know. So this word is circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is what keeps you connected to the rhythm of the actual planet, the rhythm of the actual earth. It has a frequency, it has a vibration, it also has a rhythm. And in this clock that's going all the way around, this whole clock that's going all the way around, certain functions inside your body are optimized at these times throughout the entire day. So if you're a person that likes to intermittent fast, like me, you would eat relatively earlier in the day, and you would eat where the sun is at its highest level, because that's when your digestion is working optimally. You're optimized for digestion at this time when the sun is at its highest form, because most people are vitamin D deficient, but you get vitamin D from the sun. So when this thing is in alignment with this thing, which is my physical vessel, the sun's in alignment with my physical vessel, pointing up to the sky. When it's in alignment with my physical vessel, I'm on rhythm. And as I'm on rhythm, I'm living in alignment, in natural alignment. That's why sleep is so important. And so the next thing up is going to be your food. Now, what happens in terms of your food? If you're eating acidic food, let me really be clear about this, because I used to eat fast food. I used to take protein shakes. I used to take supplements all the time. I was very adamant about improving my body, improving my health, but I just didn't know what I needed to go do. I was making it very complicated on myself. When I stopped making it complicated on myself and I asked the question, what is the simplistic way for me to get optimal health and wellness and energy? Because I'm eating food for energy. I'm eating food for fuel, not just for pleasure. It's not something that I'm doing to make myself feel better. I'm just doing it because I need to have some energy. So what am I doing? What am I consuming that's putting in bad energy inside of me? Well, what we decided was that food needs to be measured in angstroms. What is an angstrom? An angstrom is a measurement of wavelength. I'll break this down, so for you guys want to do your own study, you're welcome to do that too. So angstrom is a measurement. It measures wavelength. Now, why would this be important for you to measure wavelength? Well, if you've heard within the last maybe year or two, everything is vibrational. Everything is vibrating every moment in time, point in space. So everything's vibrating. You're measuring these vibrations by the amount of wavelength that these things have, not the amount of calories. So calories are kind of irrelevant when it comes to food, because calories are the measurement of heat. That's what calories measure. So if you're looking to measure energy, you're actually going to measure something or measure it with something that actually measures energy. But you're looking at what's the base of what are you measuring the energy with? You're measuring it in terms of waves, energy waves. So angstroms is how we measure our food. Now you have 4 categories essentially, and this was studied with Kirlian photography. Kirlian photography, I'll write this down for you guys again, so you guys can do your own study. Kirlian, Kirlian photography. Kirlian photography studies the energy field around a substance. And so what they do is they can take a picture image of an apple or a steak or an egg or some bread, like, then they can look at the measurement through the photography of the emissions, photonic emissions coming from that substance. That's how they do it. And so when you're looking at the food that you're eating, you want to say that the highest category, not you, but I'm saying that the highest category is actually fruit, but it's raw. So raw fruit and raw vegetables. This is the highest form of energy, raw fruit and raw vegetables. So you're gonna have category 1, category 2. This is gonna be about 8,000 to 10,000 angstroms of energy, raw fruit and raw vegetables. Fruit is number 1, vegetables is number 2. Now you're gonna have grains, and you're gonna have nuts. I'll put grains, nuts, and seeds. That's gonna be number 3. And then you'll have number 4, which is gonna be your processed meat and dairy. Now, what I'm expressing is that in these categories that you see, these provide you, so let's start backwards in category 4. Processed meat and dairy provides you with 0 angstroms. It gives you literally no energy, 0 angstroms. When you process the meat and dairy, you take all of the actual energy away from it. Mainly because processed meat is mainly not actually meat at all. Because when you go, if something gets killed, it's not killed and then put on your dinner table. So if you were a lion or an actual real carnivore that went to go kill your meat and go kill your prey, and it's literally alive still while you're eating it, you're gonna get a little bit of energy from that thing. But the way that we do it, especially in this country, where you're packaging, putting your saran wrap on top of it, and you're spraying it with carbon monoxide and other dyes to make it brighter, so we can look more appealing to people to purchase that food, you realize that that food actually has 0 energy waves inside of it. It's got none. Your processed dairy is the same thing. If you were to extract milk from a cow per se, and then drink it immediately after you extracted the milk from the cow, it would have a little bit of energy inside of it. But the way that we do it, again, in this country through the process, is it's held on the shelf for however long. And when it's held on the shelf for however long, it basically dies. So essentially water that's held on the shelf is dead water. Processed milk and things like that, that's also dead. And so now the third category, which is gonna be grains, nuts, and seeds. So you're gonna have about 8,000 to 10,000 in this area here, these 2, raw fruit and raw vegetables. You can go to about maybe 4 to 6 would be in this category of grain, nuts, and seeds. And again, I have these measurements on the categories actually on my website. So if you click the link in the description and you go check out our website, we have a whole library full of information that you guys can go catch on to and just look up and study for your own reference guide. So grains, nuts, and seeds. But also what I'm seeing in grocery stores in this day and age, that they're mixing these grains, nuts, and seeds with oils. They're basically mixing them with sunflower oil, canola oil, and oils that are rancid oils that when they go into your body, they cause issues, digestive issues, because they're not actually accepted by your body. So you want to actually get raw grain, nuts, and seeds, and then when you want to go to put it inside your body, you want to make it bioavailable for your body to take that energy in there. Raw vegetables, you will realize that the greener the vegetable, that's the more chlorophyll that it has in it. The more chlorophyll it has in it, that's the more oxygen that it has in it. So the more leafy green, dark leafy green, the darker green that it is, the more oxygenized it actually is for your body to be able to get more oxygen from that. So you'll see the kale, dark kale, there's like 2 or 3 different kinds, red, green, and then they have lacinato kale, which is kind of like they call it dinosaur kale. That's probably the darkest one. It's got the most oxygen inside of it, got the most chlorophyll. And so now you have raw fruit. Raw fruit, this is the category I eat the most food in, which is raw fruit. And what I also consume the most in, it would be berries. I love berries. So grapes is my number one, any color, but I keep them in circulation, so I don't just eat one color of anything. I eat multiple of everything. I want to have a diverse microbiome enough that I can be able to have good bacteria inside my gut. So I want to have seeded grapes, because seeded grapes are probably the best thing to pull mucus from your system. And this is where, like, once a week, we usually go to the farmer's market to go get seeded grapes. Other than that, we'll eat some grapes that are seedless. We just have to make sure that we clean them first, because a lot of these things have pesticides inside of them. So here's one trick for you guys to do. Whenever you're getting raw fruit, there is a mixture that you guys can do. I take water and baking soda, and I wash my fruits with this water and baking soda. So fruit wash, fruit and vegetable wash. If you need to wash your vegetables too, you can use water and baking soda. But the water we're gonna have is negative ORP. I'll explain that in a moment. So how does the food relate to acidity and alkalinity? So if you eat acidic food, fast food mainly, which is laced with MSG, which is called monosodium glutamate. MSG is a food additive that basically makes your food addictive to you. I used to eat fast food. I'm born in Lafayette, Louisiana. I used to eat Popeye's chicken. I used to eat Wendy's. I used to eat all these burgers and french fries that I thought were actually real food, but they gave me no nutritional value at all, period. Which is also why I'm an athlete, even still now, I'm still an athlete, but even back then when I was traveling a lot and eating out with my team and things, we were eating food that gave us no nutritional value, and what it was doing was it was zapping us of all of our energy, so when we got to game time, we didn't have any energy. So the food that you eat directly correlates to your potential hydrogen. If you eat energetic food like raw fruit, you then have an electric charge that comes up into your body that provides you with more alkalinity, and then you're going to be more alkaline. But if you're eating food like fast food, let's talk about like McDonald's hamburgers, Wendy's hamburgers. For instance, I have a blog on my site right now that talks about Popeye's chicken sandwiches, 55 ingredients to Popeye's chicken sandwiches. That is probably one of the most acidic sandwiches that you're gonna see, which is also where you're gonna see Chick-fil-A, they have a line right around the entire thing, because of the fact that this food is not really food at all. It's got no nutritional value. McDonald's french fries, things that whenever you leave them out, they don't even corrode, they don't even decompose. But that's why when I say processed meat and dairy, if you understand, if you leave this meat out, it's going to decompose outside. So imagine what it does inside your body. You have a shorter digestive tract inside of your body than our actual carnivore does. It's mind-blowing the differences in how people look at these things. Because this is gonna sit inside your body, inside your stomach, and decompose inside your stomach, and basically express the toxicity inside of your bloodstream and circulate all throughout your entire body, giving you a direct inflammation response all over your body. Because what people need to realize is that the solar plexus here, which we'll get to in a little bit, has 12 cranial nerves that extend all the way out to your entire body. So if you put something that's toxic inside of this, immediately your entire body is affected. That's why when you drink alcohol, all of a sudden you feel lesser than. You can't see, you have blurred vision, you have distorted movement, because once you put the poison inside your body, through your solar plexus, through your actual gut, it changes your bacteria, your microbiome, and it hits all 12 cranial nerves, and it sends all these wrong signals out, because now it puts you in fight or flight mode. So that's based upon your food. You should avoid fast food. You should avoid acidic food. You should avoid sodas, because soda is basically carbon dioxide pumped back into the water. You are a human being, meaning you breathe out oxygen. The oxygen you breathe out carbon dioxide and you breathe in oxygen. So you are a human being and you breathe in oxygen and you breathe out carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is actually breathed in by the trees. And the trees in the forest, they're breathing out oxygen that we are breathing in. It's an inverse of us. meaning our body is like an upside down tree and our roots are in the head. Those roots are inside the ground. So what they do for sparkling water, carbonated beverages, is they take that carbon dioxide and they pump it back inside that water, and they basically make this acidic solution, and you're taking it right back in. What you're supposed to be putting out to your exhaust is coming right back in to your solar plexus. So imagine while you go out inside into the sun, if you're outside on the beach with your family and you see the heat, it tells you, if you ever seen a canister of carbon dioxide by itself, it'll say, do not expose this to heat because it'll explode. But now you start to understand why people have these bellies, these big bellies, and they're bloated so much. Well, you're drinking soda. So understand that the acidity is going in through you. All of the acidity is going in through you. Now you become this carbonated balloon, essentially. And that's what's happening to you. You're gonna explode. When the sun hits you, you're gonna explode. So you're in a state of acidity if you're eating food that is not giving you any electric charge and nutritional value. And also, as far as the circadian rhythm, if you eat food too late, you'll be digesting your food overnight, which means you're not going to be in a lower brainwave state because you're going to be awake physically digesting your food. That's why this process of food consumption needs to stop. At least cut it off by 6 p.m., 7 p.m., no later than 7 p.m. If the sun's going down completely, don't eat. You need to just wait till the next day. That time is up, because you're going to be working overnight when you're supposed to be resting. Okay, and that's what's going to put you in acidity. You need to be in alkaline state, not in an acidic state. That's draining the energy from your salt battery. Now let's keep going. I'm gonna just move real quickly to alignment before I go into relationships. So let's go into the alignment. So the word alkaline is alkaline and alignment combined. Well, here's what you're going to be aligning. You're going to be aligning your 7 chakras. Your 7 chakras are going to be your crown, which is going to be your pituitary gland, your third eye, which is going to be your pineal gland, your throat is going to be your heart, it's actually going to be your thalamus gland, your plexus, which is going to be your gut, solar plexus, which is going to be your gut, your sacral, which is going to be a flap of bone on the back end and the base of your spine. Whenever you breathe and whenever you inhale, your sacral flap opens up in the back, and then whenever you exhale, it closes. It's just like it's opening up for pressure, because you're like a combustion engine as a physical vessel. So then after that, you have your root, and your root is going to extend from your perineum, which is going to be the spot. It's actually between your genitals and your anus, and it's called the perineum. It's a little flap of skin that's here. If you're starting to see these folks talking about Kegling, the reason why you Kegel is because that's going to be the base, your perineum. If you can strengthen this area, that muscle especially, is going to be what's going to pump that air and the oxygen and an energy from the base of your spine to the top of your head. But there's 2 centers. It's not a chakra, it's just an extension of the root chakra. It's going to hit to your knees, and it's going to hit to your ankles. All right? So that's going to be, and I'm going to put the sound frequencies that match. So your root's going to actually be 3 sections. It's going to be here at the perineum, then also at the knee, and also at the ankle. Now, what these energy wheels do, they each have a specific function based on your level of consciousness and awareness. You see, whenever you understand feeling and thinking, this is why I have down here, I have thinking and feeling. So it's just going to be thinking and feeling. This is what you're going to call basically your kingdom of God. So let me just put this right here. Kingdom of God. You'll have your pituitary, and then you'll have your pineal. And so you realize that as you are feeling, this is going to be your crown. And as you are thinking, this is going to be your third eye. So your imagination is going to be your third eye, which is going to be the spot right in between right inside your forehead, right in between your eyes. But your pineal gland, your pituitary gland is held in the pituitary body, which is in the center of your head. So you're gonna start to understand that all these metaphors that they've been using, land of milk and honey, and when you start to realize that milk and honey that you hear about inside your Bible is actually just your pituitary and your pineal gland, the liquid that is secreted from both, okay? It looks like honey when it comes out of your pituitary gland, and it looks like milk when it comes out of your pineal gland. Now, the throat, which is gonna be here, and then the heart, which is gonna be the connector. So I'm going to put the areas that you're gonna see that are really, really important. All of them are very, very important, but some of them are really, really important, okay? So you have what's called the HPA axis, all right? And this is all how your alignment works. The HPA axis is called the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. This is essentially your perception and how you feel, because the thalamus and your pituitary and then your adrenals is all connected to your perception of what's going on in the outer world. But it has to be regulated by what's going on in your inner world, okay? So if your inner world is whole and you're feeling healthy and you're feeling wealthy, you're feeling happy, your outer world is gonna reflect that. It's gonna be a direct reflection of that. So the chakras all have a specific sound frequency associated with them called solfeggio. Now, what is solfeggio? Solfeggio was a sound scale that was developed in the 1970s whenever this one gentleman, his name slips my mind at the moment, but I believe I have that information on my website as well. So, but what he did was he found that this system of sound that we have at this time was incorrect for our bodies. We could not take in these sounds because they were causing disharmony among our own cells. So he found a different scale. Now let me show you how this scale matches up to an actual wave. So the crown solfeggio frequency is 953 hertz. And it's measured in hertz. 852 hertz is your third eye. 741 hertz is your throat. 639 hertz is your heart. 528 hertz is your plexus. 417 hertz is your sacral. And your root has 396 hertz, 285 hertz, 174 hertz. Now you hear this quote many times about Tesla says the key to the universe is 369. I will show you the correlation between these sound frequencies and what Tesla said. 3, 6, 9. It's basically 3, then you double it, and then you triple it, all right? So 174 hertz, I'll break them out into threes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate these into sections. And these are gonna be the sections of your actual body. So you'll have your lower body, which is gonna go with the root. You'll have your middle body, and you have your upper body, which is gonna be up above the throat. So this is gonna be the throat, the third eye of the crown, and you're gonna lower it down, and you're gonna have at the sacral, the plexus, and then the heart. Then you're gonna have your root, which is gonna be your perineum and below. Now, 174 hertz, if you add 1 plus 7, that's 8, plus 4, that's 12. And you put 1 plus 2, that's 3. There's 3. 285. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 5 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6, that's 6. 396, which is gonna be 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 6 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. That's 369. But this is gonna be, each section is gonna be 369. So 417, 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 7 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. There you go. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 8 is 15, 1 plus 5 is 6, that's 6. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 9 is 18, and 1 plus 8 is 9. Same thing is gonna go for these. If you add in these three numbers, you're gonna still get 3, 6, and 9. Now, what I also want you guys to understand is how this scale works in terms of a wave. Now, you'll see the first numbers in all of these sound frequencies is going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it's going to go down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Starts all over again. 9, 8, 7, but it's still going down. All right. And if you go back up again, you're going to see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. So the wave is going like this, up, like that, like this. Just like if you were on the hospital bed and they had you wired up and you got to see your heart beating like this here. If you have this straight line, you'd be dead, flat line. But when you have this, you have life. And that's the frequency. You have life. So let's continue on with the talk about alignment, all right? And how this also relates to acidity and alkaline. Now, your ANS, which is called your autonomic nervous system. What this system is the system of what happens behind the scenes inside your body. So as you're breathing, this is regulating blood pressure. This is whenever you sneeze, whenever your eyes flicker. This is what's regulating your heartbeat, your ANS system, autonomic nervous system. But this is governed essentially from your enteric nervous system. What is your enteric nervous system? This is what you call your gut brain. Your gut brain. And your gut brain is your first brain. Why is it your first brain? Don't you have a connection at your belly button? You have a connection at your belly button that's developed as soon as you become a small fetus in your mother's womb. You have a direct connection to your mom through that umbilical cord. That's how you get fed, that's how you get nourished, that's how you get information. So the enteric nervous system, which is developed insanely early, as soon as you come into existence, but now the ANS is split. It's split from the enteric nervous system, and it's split from PSNS, which is parasympathetic, and SNS, sympathetic. Now, when you eat something, when you consume something, when you drink something, it's going to fall into one of these two categories. Either it's going to harmonize you, it's going to energize you, it's going to heal you, it's going to have growth, it's going to grow you, it's going to repair you, or you're going to be put in fight or flight mode. And so this is the issue that I see, the main issue. You can call it medical, society, whatever. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to be, associated with all of that. But I am a healer. I'm a person who understands how the body works, and that's why I look the way I do. That's why I feel the way I do. And then what I do is I attempt to share this information so people can feel the same way, so they can be their own self-empowered healer. Because what I realized was that the first leading cause of death is heart disease. But how do you get heart disease? It's mainly from the food that you eat, the thoughts that you think. All right. Second is cancer. How do you get cancer? Same thing. Food that you eat, thoughts that you think. Third is medical malpractice. The third leading cause of death in this country, medical malpractice. If you want to go there, then that's fine. I'd rather learn how to govern myself so I can take care of myself. Not saying that, if you have a bleeding open wound that you can't go run to the doctor to go get past. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you should know how to govern your own system so that you can live the best life that you possibly can and not have to outsource your health and your wellness to somebody else. That's ridiculous. So, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. If you are in growth and repair, you light up this ANS system. And all of a sudden, this turns back on in the way it's supposed to turn on. But if you're in fight or flight, you turn off this ANS system, and now you stay stuck in adrenaline, in cortisol, and in inflammation. Now what this does is this keeps you in stress. I'm gonna get into stress really quickly, where I'll tell you that stress is nothing but dehydration. Why do I say that? So stress is dehydration. Stress is dehydration because water is the signaler. Water is the medium. You've heard of the word medium, like people that can go into different dimensions to tell stories and things. Well, water is the medium that has this connection and then this connection. If you don't have enough water inside your system, you can't tell your hands to open and close. You can't tell your arms to go up or down, because the signals are not going to have anything to carry it to where it needs to go. You have to have water as the medium. And water is the only thing in this universe, as far as we know, that can exist as a solid, a liquid, or a gas. So, we're made of, essentially, when we're born, we're basically almost 100% water. And as we grow to develop, we're about 70 to 80%. There's been numbers thrown around that, 70 to 80%. Your brain is mostly water. Your entire body is mostly water. You develop bones and you develop, things around that water, but for the most part, you're an abundance of water. And if you can keep this water alkaline, and if you can keep this salt battery of yours where it's energized and not dehydrate yourself, you don't have to face the effects of stress. But you can't hydrate yourself if your cells don't drink what you're putting in. You have to actually be in growth and repair for your cells to be able to accept this water. So this is what alignment is. Each chakra energy wheel inside of your body is governed by a sound frequency. So if you want to fix, say you have sexual traumas, you have traumas at the root of your body. So you can't even generate your own energy because you have these sexual traumas and these PTSD symptoms. Your first three centers are energy consumers. So your root, your sacral, your plexus. This is where you create your seminal fluid. Okay, you create your Christ oil, and this is where you're sending up the energy from the base of your spine to the top of your head. Your plexus is what's doing all your digesting in your sacral area, in the front and your back energy wheel, and then your plexus was taking in the actual energy, sending up all the signals through the solar plexus. So these first three energy centers are energy consumers. These consume, okay? And so you have consumers here. You need to have a balance and a median to balance, which is the heart. The heart is what's going to connect the top to the bottom. That's what connects the top to the bottom. These are what create. The creators are going to be here. So these are consumers, all right? These are the takers. But then this right here is going to be the creator. How do I make something happen? I tell myself. What I say is what I'm going to create. This is how laws of the universe work. So what I'm saying outwardly into the screen of space, which is my environment, my 3D world, this is what I'm going to create out in the world. And the third eye is what I'm going to imagine myself creating, because I'm using it from a forward projection. And then the crown is how I'm feeling about it. So I have the thinking and I have the feeling. So this is going to be the electric charge, which is I sending the signal out. My thought sends the signal out, and my feeling draws the experience back to me. So this is going to be the electric charge. This is going to be the magnet, the crown. So your thinking is the charge, and your feeling is the magnet. All right. So when you think about, you're going to attract. That's your law of attraction. But you have to be able to say it. You have to be able to say it first. You have to be able to speak it out into existence. Say you go do it. But you also need to make sure when you're speaking it, you're writing it down, because there's a connection between the head and the hand. So you have to know what it is that you really want. That's all you gotta do, is know what you really want. If you know what you really want, you're gonna go out there and go get it, okay? So let's go back and let's hit on to actually polarity, okay, real quickly. So polarity, in a nutshell, you have the sun, you have the moon, okay? So you have the point in the center of the circle, and then you have the point outside the circle. Everyone needs the sun, everyone needs the moon, because we're governed by the sun and the moon. Who's governed by the sun? The masculine side of your energy. The moon is your feminine side of your energy. Now, men and women have both. Both of us have both. Men have masculine and feminine, women have masculine and feminine. But obviously, a woman is more feminine and a man is more masculine. So if you look at it in terms of the sun and the moon, you're saying, okay, the moon cycle, just like a woman's period, is 28 and a half days. But you also have the sun. So when you see that you need to have both, because you have to be able to create through photosynthesis, which is basically photonic emission. You're synthesizing with the ground and the earth and the planet. That's how you plant a seed into the ground, all right? And you have to water it. You have to water it continuously, and you have to give it sun, because the sun is where the energy comes from. The sun, which then hits into your plexus, the solar plexus. This is the expansion, and all the energy is going to expand outward and radiate out through you. So you have the sun, masculine, the moon, feminine. You have the sky, which is positive, like your salt battery, the sky, anything above the ground, which is going to be photonic emissions, which is going to be positive. And you have the ground, which is negative. So if you first thing that you need to do, if you're too inflamed, if you're hurting every day, if you can't sleep, it means you probably have a lack of negative electrons inside of your body. And that's the main thing that I'm seeing as far as women. They don't have enough negative electrons inside their body. See, women are more susceptible to addiction because they bear children. So obviously they can take a whole lot of pain. They have a high pain tolerance, a high pain threshold. But if you go to a coffee shop, the majority of a coffee shop's customers, Starbucks, anything, coffee bean, whatever it is, it's gonna be women, because they consume so much that's causing them to be stressed. Why? It's causing them to be dehydrated. So women already have a lower amount of fluid inside of their body. They don't have as much fluid as men do. They don't have as much water in them, in their system, as men do. So what happens to these women is they lose the connection of the medium. They don't have enough of the medium. So signaling, we're talking about signaling, positive and negative. First thing that a woman can do, men too, I'm not saying that it's just women who have to struggle, but women mainly, you need to start grounding yourself. Whether you go outside barefoot, whether you go on Amazon.com and you order a grounding cord, simple grounding cord, stick it inside of the wall outlet that you'll see a 3-prong, 1 circle, two prongs. You put it inside the circle. That's a grounding, where the grounding cord goes in. You can ground yourself that way. You can get a mat. You can get a grounding. It's like a sheet for your bed, grounding pillows, grounding pillowcases, whatever it is that you can get. They have all types of things, and also different materials, linen, like cottons. They used to use linen in hospitals, but they stopped doing it years ago. I'm not gonna, speculate why, but because linen is very, very healing. They started to use different materials that don't have those same healing qualities like linen do. Stop wearing such big, broad shoes. They're taking you away from the ground, just connecting yourself to the ground. And also, let me see, another thing that you guys need to know. Not only that, but if you were to walk outside barefoot and just bury yourself, or go to an ocean, go to a place for moving water, running water, and just immerse yourself within that. Also go out to places and forest bathe. They call it forest bathing, where you just go out to a place like out in the middle of nowhere, where you can basically get energy that's unobstructed from anything. No one's touched it. No one's there to obstruct the energy. There's no noise pollution. There's no pollution from cars and travel and all. There's none of that stuff there to obstruct you. So that stuff is going to be an excellent way for you to go back to get negative electrons back into your body, to balance out the positive and the negative. But you need to have that in order to incorporate that into your salt battery. So let's now keep going. That was alignment, all right? And we're going to go into these concepts in a little bit, but let's go back down to relationships. How does this work in relationships? Well, whatever frequency that you're on, whatever you're giving off in terms of energy, and in terms of how you're thinking, that's a frequency. So what you do frequently is your frequency. So if you're thinking about finances, right, you're gonna find yourself in Wall Street or in stocks. Or if you're thinking about art, you're gonna find yourself in, an art district, or places that you'll see other artists. you'll find yourself magnetically attracted to people who are attracted to things that like you. It's like your reference set. Your reference set is what you already know. Your preference set is what you're going to because what you like. So look at it from that perspective solely. That's how you're going to build relationships. But what you need to understand is if you aren't authentic, if you aren't honest and transparent, and if you aren't accountable, you attract the person as a mirror perspective to who you are being. So if you're asking for all these things in somebody else, unwilling to give them out from yourself, you never attract those people into your life. You don't attract rich people or wealthy people if you don't act rich or wealthy. You don't attract honest people. So if you're looking for a mate and you want an honest mate and you want a committed mate and a loyal mate, but you're not honest, committed, and loyal. You have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The person who you attract will have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. They're not gonna be loyal to you. You're not loyal to them. If you want somebody with intention that to be unconditionally loving to you and everyone else, and what do I mean by unconditionally loving? When I say the words unconditionally loving to everyone, that means you don't have any conditions. They don't have any set thing for you to go do, for you to go have, for you to go be, in order for me to be with you. You're not prostituting yourself and saying you need to pay for this in order for me to give my love to you. You're just understanding that this is through an energy relationship. And this is how you build relationships. So if you have a room of 5 millionaires, you're gonna be the 6th if you walk in and you stay in that room. If you have a room of 5 criminals, you're gonna be the 6th. Because that's going to entangle you based upon brain wave frequency. They've studied this. If you go into a room of high performers, you're a low performer, but you go into a room of high performers, you're now going to adapt to the rest of the high performers inside that room. Because you're 1, they're 5. Now, if the high performer comes into your room, all right, and his energy is not, or their energy is not strong enough to sustain that high performance in a room of low performers, they're going to acquiesce and they're going to fold to the low performers. That's just how it works. It's a pattern of entanglement. This is the ocean all around me. I'm moving my hands through the ocean right now. When you do like this, you'll feel some air and some wind because I'm pushing the energy all over. I'm moving it. So when I'm doing this, it's gonna come out on the opposite side. That's just how this works. So mirror perspective. This is gonna be your crown, how you feel, how you relate in your third eye, how you correspond, how you are out in the screen of space. You're gonna get back what you put out. So in terms of relationship, you want a good one, you should put out good energy to get a great one, all right? Also the speech. So now let's talk mainly also about speech right now. All this is going to affect how you're living, how you're being. Your speech is what you're going to create. If you don't speak out with intention, good things, conscious things, things that you really want with intention, you're going to get back awful things. You have to speak with intention. You're basically casting spells all the time. So if you're casting spells all the time and you're doing bad ones, things that you don't want to create, but you keep on saying them out loud. You keep on saying, I don't have this. I'm broke. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I don't know where to go. And I'm some sad little victim in a little corner like a little puppy. And I don't know what to do with my life or how my life is going to work out. You don't know nothing. No, you said that. You spoke that into existence. If you were the person that was courageous enough to speak out what you really wanted from life, it would give back to you what you're putting out. So if you sit there and say, I know, I'm courageous, I'm great, I'm healthy, and you understood that the medium, which was the water, which is how you communicate with the universe, you're asking for the universe all these things that you put inside your mind, but you thought about them first. You went in and you used the third eye, and you closed your eyes to meditation, and you became familiar with yourself. That's what meditation means, to become familiar with. You became familiar with yourself, and you said, I want these things. I wrote them down. I wrote down the affirmations, and I said, I am this, and I spoke this out to where I am that right now. The only person who knows what you're supposed to do is the future you. If you don't go in and write down what that future you is, you don't create a roadmap to get to that future you. You get the roadmap. You can't ask somebody what to do for yourself. You have to be able to speak it out into fruition. So you're supposed to affirm yourself at every moment in time, point in space, before you leave the front door of your house every single day. You have to affirm who you are. If you don't affirm who you are, you'll be searching for it all the time, and you're never gonna find it. That's the trick, is you have to be your own mentor, your own self-empowered healer. You don't go to a doctor to ask them, "Doctor, can I be healthy today?" You don't go to your parents or to your employer and ask them, "Can I be rich and wealthy today?" You go to your mind, and you go to the own source within all of us, and you ask it what you need to ask it to get what you need to get out of life. You need to do that. That's your responsibility. See, the choice is yours to make. Yes, the choice is yours to make. It's not anyone else's choice, it's yours to make. When you take on that choice and take on the accountability, you begin to speak differently about yourself and speak life within you, not death and not victimhood inside of you. You start to speak life, and that's how you do it. Now, your thoughts are going to be a direct reflection of what you're saying, and the people around you, and the food you eat, and the sleep that you're getting. If you're keeping all these things in harmony, your thoughts should all be in harmony as well. And you'll be staying in parasympathetic mode, growth and repair, because you're not going to be in stress mode, fight or flight, because you're always going to be in a neutral place, 7.35, 7.55. You're always going to have enough energy inside your soul battery to sustain life. You're always going to be in a place of masculine and feminine in harmony, not balance, but harmony. Sometimes you need to be more masculine, sometimes you need to be more feminine. But either way, you'll have harmony to keep moving forward. You have to have polarity in order to move forward. So then what you're thinking and what you're feeling is going to be in harmony. And so when you think it, you feel it, you're going to be it. So you have to go from thinking to doing to being. That's how you have to do it. What you're thinking, what you're feeling has to be done immediately when it comes in. If you miss that part, you're going to be procrastinating. But that was supposed to be done moments ago, days ago, weeks ago, months ago. You're going to be sitting there waiting on what's supposed to have happened because your thought process was telling you what to do and you were blocking it out from receiving the instructions from the source of all there is. All right? So thoughts are important because all of these things are going into a recipe. And it's a recipe, just like making a cake. So you're basically starting from the bottom, going to the top. From the root all the way, planting the seed, having the seed grow all the way through your entire body, and then it goes out through the crown, through how you feel, and that's how people are going to see you, based upon how you feel. Walk around with a smile on your face, you'll get a different response. Walk around with a frown on your face, you get a different response. And that's based upon your thought process of whom you are, who you think you are. Now, how you move is also a direct correlation to all of these things. You see somebody with Parkinson's, somebody with Alzheimer's, somebody who has dementia, or these things where they have the shakes, and they don't have enough of the medium to get the signals across because they blocked it because of stress. They blocked it and they're living in fight or flight mode because they had acidic food, all right? They weren't hydrated enough, okay? They were living out of alignment. So you see people who work overnight, who are living out of alignment, circadian rhythms are out of alignment. You see people who don't consume a lot of raw fruit and raw vegetables, they consume a lot of processed meat and dairy. There'll be the ones that are overweight, that are retaining water because they don't have the water going into the cells. So they're now retaining weight, they're more matter than they are light and spirit. And that's where you're starting to see that their angstrom count is low. So they don't have a lot of wavelength. And so then you can already tell what they're thinking, what they're feeling is going to affect their movement. People who walk very, very stiff, and they walk like they have like a pipe, like a stick, and they're just walking like this here, like they're soldiers the entire time, stiff the entire time. Well, that's gonna be in their head. So how you do anything is how you do everything. Make sure you remember that. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're stiff, you'll walk stiff. If you're relaxed, you'll walk relaxed. If you're feminine, you'll be able to move your hips whenever you walk. My lady, she's so excited because now she has hips now because she's been changing the way that she walks. She used to walk very stiff and very hard, and it would hurt. But now she's walking very, very relaxed and very, very calm and very, very sure. And she's walking forward. She's not walking backward, avoiding going forward. So your posture is a direct correlation to how you're thinking of yourself inside your head. Your gait, G-A-I-T. So you're talking about movement, well, your gait is G-A-I-T. That's basically like your posture in your stance. You've heard about Egyptian positions of power, postures of power, standing up straight like this. That's a posture of power. So when you have movement, understanding what beginning movement load theory is, that's how we train at the Alkalign Lifestyle. It's based upon the furthest range of motion, okay, with the load that you can handle at that furthest range of motion. So if I can squat or just, lift my arm and put my arm all the way back and then move all the way forward, right? And if I can stretch myself all the way in, all the way forward, if I can lift my leg all the way here, right? That's where the strength comes in. It's because I have so much flow. I'm in the flow right now that my movement is showing off to the screen of space, to the 3D world, that I'm living in alignment, I'm living in harmony, and I'm alkalized. So lastly, which is the most important part that I believe, is hydration. Hydration is the direct correlation from your signaler and the medium to the universe. It's your water. You need to drink what's called negative ORP. What does that mean? It means oxidation, reduction, potential. Reduction, potential. That means the potential to reduce oxidation. And so you want to have a higher negative number, right? A higher negative number. What we serve at the Alkalign Lifestyle, we encourage our clients to get a Kangen machine, a Kangen water machine, which has negative 639 plus. See, 639, well, actually not plus because it's minus. So our negative. And so this is like a really substantial negative number as far as antioxidant. So what this means is the water is antioxidizing. And when you have the more antioxidizing the water, the better for you. So what you can do is you can go to a place that's called freshpure.com. Okay, Fresh Pure. Fresh Pure is a dispensary that they have all over this country right now. They're doing a great job. They have I think it's negative 231 right now at the ORP. This water is high pH and it's 99 cents a gallon. So look up freshpure.com and locations if you're in the States, and you can go check it out. Outside the States, I'm not really sure, but I know that running water, places that have running water, places that like Sedona, Arizona, places that you can go to that have waterfalls, that's moving water. Moving water is antioxidizing, moving water. But it also has to be healthy. Like the place that's around it should be a place that's untouched and out in pristine conditions in nature. That water, that hydration will hydrate you. And also fruit juice. If you juice your fruits, the reason why I think people are reluctant to take in fruit is because of the concept of sugar is so damaging. But what they need to understand is that fruit has natural sugar. So fructose is great for you because fructose is, if you have diabetes, right, and you're struggling to get glucose into your system, fruit bypasses the pancreas. The pancreas is part of this enteric nervous system and it's ANS. If you can bypass that by eating fruit, you can use the liver, which then conducts this thing called fructolysis, which then extracts the fructose and then uses that to create ATP, adenosine triphosphate energy. So you can use this fruit and you can heal yourself just by raising your hydration. So hydration is that important. And so what I'm going to talk about also to finalize is what's called cymatics, which is sound wave patterns in water. If you remember, I was talking to you earlier about wavelength and also about Killian photography and also about how raw fruits and vegetables have the most wavelength, and also about whenever you do all these processes that combine to create this lifestyle, you're living in a certain pattern and a certain frequency. Cymatics is where you can measure these sound waves, like so measure your sound frequencies and the patterns that they conduct inside your body in actual water. So if you can look at cymatics is what harmonizes because sound can harmonize you. If you go into a room and playing heavy metal and hard rock and some aggressive kind of music, you're gonna be aggressive. If you can go into a room and playing calming, relaxing music, you're also gonna be calm and relaxed. But this cymatics can change based upon intention of what you say. This is the cool thing about how your cells work. Your cells also have sound frequencies. They also have 7 chakras because your cells are a community that makes up you. So sonocytology is what measures the sound waves in the cells. If you can understand that by intention of speaking positive things, wonderful things, harmonious things inside this water, the water is the memory. So water holds the memory. So the more hydration that you have, the more, essentially, yes, the smarter that you are, because you can hold in more information. So that's why you need to be hydrated. When your cells can take in more hydration, the sound wave patterns that you have inside this water, right? The sound wave patterns that you have conducted by cymatics, because of your good feeling place and your kindness and your generosity and your abundance and your connection to the actual universe, to all there is, to the source, that pattern will change inside of you. And you can do it backwards. So you can speak yourself into health. You can speak yourself into wealth. You can change your food diet, and all of a sudden you change the thoughts that you're thinking. Change the thoughts that you're thinking on purpose. You can record yourself by playing it inside of an MP3 player and recording your own affirmations and speaking them out into existence every single day inside your headphones, like I have them on right now. But you can do this by changing how you speak to yourself, your self-image. Change how you move your body. Stop lifting up so much heavy, painful stuff and get into a strength through length movement program. But mainly cymatics and sonocytology, because of hydration, you're changing the water, which is you. That is it. And you're able to track it by seeing it, and you're also able to track it by seeing the patterns in the water. You can download an app. It's made by John Stewart Reed, the gentleman who came up with the concept of cymatics. And he made this concept where you can basically see your own voice in patterns inside water. If people don't speak their authentic self, you don't even sound comfortable talking as your normal self. Many people don't have comfort doing a lot of things. But if you can have the comfort in being yourself and being authentic, you now realize that the signal that you're sending out into the universe is that of authenticity. It's the fastest, the most powerful signal that you can possibly send out, because you're not caring about what people think. You're not caring about what other people, their opinions about you, what they believe about you. You don't care. You're your own mentor, your own self-empowered healer, your own guide. It's you. It's your future you is guiding you. Your higher mind self is guiding you where you need to go to. That's how this concept of the alkalign lifestyle works. People need to change their lifestyle, because your lifestyle is what's killing you. Like I said, you have heart disease, number 1, you have cancer, then you have, now it's probably diabetes, but then you still have medical malpractice, number 3, because doctors don't know what you're going through, because both of y'all are lying. That's really how it works. You know, in my opinion, and I'm not calling anybody out, I'm stating the facts that I believe, because many people don't tell the truth. You're living in misalignment. You're doing things that you don't like just to go get a buck, just to go attract people whom you don't even like at the end. They're not part of the higher mind self view. If you're not supposed to be in your actual space in your future, don't waste your time with them right now. Leave that stuff alone. Start to look at your sleeping patterns, at your eating patterns, your patterns of relationship. Ask yourself, the people who you talk to, the last 5 people who you talk to, are they going to benefit you in your future, or are they going to hold you back? Your speech. Are you speaking your life into your situation, into your life? Are you speaking what you can't do all the time? Are you the negative person that's always walking around in pessimism all the time? Are you the optimist that says what you can do? All right, are your thoughts big dreams? Dream big dreams, or are you dreaming small dreams? Are you dreaming short term? Look, I have to make it till tomorrow. Are you dreaming impact? I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna be a generational, impactful person, inspirational person. Are you moving properly? Can you walk up and down the stairs without pains at your knees? These things are important, you know? And lastly, are you hydrated? because you don't want to be stressed every single day. So these concepts are the concepts of the Alkalign Lifestyle. All right, if this helped anybody, if this teaching helped anybody to understand more about how the universe works, about how the universe works to you in your own body, leave a comment below. Check out the link in my description. And if you guys are looking for any help, just hit us up. Check us out. We have some new videos coming up this week, new podcast episode coming up. And other than that, peace.